You get to see how African Americans look. You see, you get to see how African Americans look, right? 2021. You get to see how African American communities look. You get to see all that. Now, before we became African Americans, before we became black people, you see what we had in the ancient world, and then our decline came when the white man came over. Then we started to, that's when that whole black and white thing started to form over time, that whole dynamic of them being in our land. And then we eventually went up under them and allowed them to take the lead, and we became black people and let them become one. And everything since then, everything from that point on was our downfall. We actually started buying into the story that we are Africans and Africans and half-cans, whatever, that came over here on the ship, and that we was like just chained down and pissing on each other and shitting on each other and all this other stuff we did, coming over, degrading, being degraded, having our women sexually abused, everything else. When we accepted all that nonsense, that lie, and like I said, the sister made a good point. She said that, that was taking place. If anything, I could see that taking place when they was bringing our people from the South America into North America. I see that. Definitely see that. Bringing our people up from South America to North America, some of our people for slavery. And the ones on this side, they probably didn't try to enslave them, or they might have tried to, but, our people knew the land too much. But damn sure didn't bring nobody from no Africa. No. Absolutely not. Very small percentage. Very small. You know the difference. You know the mentality. You know the energy. Our energy is different. Being in the Mesoamerican, like I said, Mesoamerican energy is different from everybody else's energy. Mesoamerican energy is different from everybody else's energy. The so-called African, you see that the African energy, the so-called native, the tribal African, because I told you before, that's the only real Africans. The real Africans are the tribal Africans. You see. Those, like I said, you see the difference in them and you see it in us. And they want us to buy into the fact that we are them. They want us to buy into the fact that we all the same. We one big nigga. They want us to buy into that. Buy into that lie. And why do they want us to buy into that lie? Because, like I said, it made us, again, if you see how African Americans, imagine if we knew we were the real natives of this land, Mesoamerican natives of this land, what would that have done to our psyche, our mindset here in this society? What would it have done with when somebody tell you, you niggas need to go back to Africa? They can't say that no more. We say, you crackers need to go back to Europe. Go back to the caves. You crackers need to go back to the caves of Caucasus Mountains where you come from. And you can stand on that and say that and look at this truly as your land, because it is. When you can really say, but see, you couldn't really say that as long as you were programmed by Roots, 12 Years a Slave, Mandingo, and all those slave movies they made sure they put out. Just for good measure to keep you programmed, to keep you thinking that you have no right to this land here, you have no parts of this land here, you just was brought here to work and that was it. Some lies. This ain't your land. This is the white man's land, right? Well, if that's so, then why they took so long to call themselves Americans? How come they still want to be Italian Americans, Irish Americans, all this other stuff? Why they want to be linked to their own homelands? Why they want to be linked to their own homelands? They want to claim America but still be linked to their own homelands. And then after a while, now I'm gonna say they don't even really want to claim their own homeland anymore. That's the white man was with that big push for white people to just call themselves American. You see, he had already differentiated the Mesoamericans. See, this is how he gets off by saying, "Oh, well, see, we don't have to talk about that part of American history because that's Mesoamerican history. That's not American history. American history is basically when white people came around." So in other words, this place had no relevance until white people got here. That's really what they're saying. Because if you're saying that, I don't have to talk about a Mesoamerican history as part of the American history lesson, then you basically saying no history mattered until white people came here. That's really what they're saying. Ask your teachers, those of you in high school who get American history, how come they don't teach about Mesoamerican history? Because that's your history. That's your real history. Because for them to teach it, they can't teach you anything about African history because there's no such thing as African history. There's no African American history. Excuse me. There's no African American history. Shaka Zulu and all that. That's not your history. You see, they can't teach you about African American history other than Oprah Winfrey, the civil rights movement. You was in slavery. We took you from Africa. You was in slavery. Then we let you go, and then y'all had to fight for your rights. That's African American history. You see, because everything went into making sure that you would never link yourself to here and never see yourself as being native to here. See, everything had to go into that. The focus on ripping you apart from your Mesoamerican heritage had to be paramount into turning you into black people and into Negroes. Again, reason why so-called black people here in America, we embrace ancient Egypt and we embrace Native American culture and ancient Egyptian cultures because that's what Mesoamerican culture really is. It is a mix of what you call ancient Egypt because they had the pyramids and everything, the ancient pyramids and all that. A lot of their symbolisms were the same, the serpent and everything else. A lot of the symbolism, a lot of that was the same. The building, architecture, all that was the same as over in Egypt. But even here, better on this side than Egypt. And the whole native thing, like I said, the feathers, the hides and all, and the leopard skin, and a lot of this stuff. That's all what you thought would be Native American. That's really Mesoamerican. So you see the combination of both in here. We feel a Native American. Ain't nobody had to tell us what to like and what not to like. We took one look at Native Americans. We took one look at ancient Egypt, and we was like, we want that. We feeling that. When we go into the African black thing, come on, let's be for real. Ain't nobody feeling that. We ain't feeling that. Y'all know we ain't feeling that because that's not our culture. We're not feeling that. They had to make us get hyped up for Africa. You see, they had to make us get hyped up for the Kenta cloth. You see, they had to make us get hyped up for roots and Shaka Zulu and all that. They had to make us get hyped up for that. You see, we didn't naturally embrace that. That wasn't like something we saw and we was like, oh, I want to rock the red, black, and green, and Pan-Africanism and whatnot. Even today when I see bronze people here, Mesoamerican people here wearing dashikis, I told you it looks like the dumbest, orphish thing, like a costume you Negroes got on when you wearing them dashikis. They had to make sure that you embraced the jungle bunny fever. I call it the jungle bunny fever because, again, they always want to tell you was hopping around in the jungle like bunnies and whatnot, running all about, jumping up on stuff, swinging on stuff, and all this other stuff. You know, they always want to show you in the jungles, like the sister said, the Enra sister said, you know, they talking about jungles in South America. They're talking about people playing in rivers and waters and whatnot, and people coming over there and taking those people. Like I said, just think of your children being at some lush theme park somewhere, and then some kidnappers come and take your children away and take them to a whole other side of the country. That's what the equivalent of the slave trade was. You see, that was the equivalent. How the hell you live in a jungle? No, our people didn't live in no jungle. We lived in cities. We went into the jungles, but we lived in cities. We went into the jungles. We chopped the damn jungles down. We cleared the jungles in South America and a lot of North America. They through slavery, we cleared a lot of these. Everything was greenery everywhere. We cleared a lot of the land. You see, we cleared the lands. We put things on. We planted things and set farms up on top of those lands. We cleared them. And yeah, you had people in the jungle swimming in the rivers and stuff like that. You had that. They knew which rivers to go in and whatnot, where to swim at and swing off trees and things like that. But they want to make it seem like, oh, these were jungle people. They were in the jungle and they were just, they were just living in the jungle. You see, they tell you that you African and you African American. Then they force that on you. And then, like I said, you wonder why we tend to reject that. You wonder why we tend to reject that. what makes the Native American and the Egyptian cultures appeal to us more than the African, simply because that's really our culture. We know our culture. The white man wants to try and hide our culture. Like I said, it wasn't even so much we cared too much about we feel the Egyptian stuff, but like I said, that's Mesoamerica. That's here in Mesoamerica. The origin of that is Mesoamerica, not Egypt. Like I said, the origin of the pyramids and all this stuff is really Mesoamerica, not Egypt. You see? So we love that pyramid culture. We love that complex culture. We love that native culture. You see, because these things, like I said, when you see bronze men wearing feathered headdresses, women wearing feathered headdresses, that's what our people did. We did that. They were hat decorations, everything else, or head decorations and things like that. That's what our people did. You could look back in the ancient world and you could see the women in Egypt with feathers, wearing things with feathers in them and whatnot. We did stuff like that. You see, that's nothing new. We did things like took a feather off of there, put it in the side of our caps and stuff like that. That's where the fedoras and them got all that from, putting a damn feather on the side of the cap. That come from our people, man. You see,